All right, let's just jump right into this. You ever find yourself doing something that feels, a little weird? And you wonder, is there something more going on here? Well, today we're going to look at a few habits that seem strange on the surface, but might actually be huge signs of a highly intelligent mind hard at work.
I mean, come on, really. Have you ever caught yourself doing something and just had that thought, is this normal? Well, you're going to want to hear this, because what you think is just some random quirk might actually be a clue that your brain is firing on a whole other level. We're talking about things you probably do every day. Talking to yourself, maybe the state of your desk, or even the way you recharge your mental batteries. We are going to decode these habits and figure out what they're really telling us.
So here is the big idea. What if these things aren't personality flaws at all? In fact, psychologists are now suggesting that for really intelligent minds, these behaviors aren't random. Nope, they are functional, totally practical tools that your brain uses to process a super complex world. And I love this analogy. Think of these habits as your brain's source code. To an outsider, someone just casually looking, it might seem like a messy jumble of symbols that don't make any sense. But to the programmer, or in this case, to your brain, it's the exact set of instructions it needs to run a seriously powerful program.
So let's go ahead and crack open that source code. First up, we're going to look at your inner world, those habits that are all about how you think and process information, completely inside your own head.
First one, talking to yourself. The common idea, right, is that if you're muttering away to yourself, you must be distracted, or maybe you're not really paying attention. But is that what's actually going on?
The reality is so much cooler. It's a high-level process called verbal reasoning. When you turn those abstract thoughts swirling around in your head into actual concrete words, you're not getting distracted, you're organizing them. You're basically problem-solving out loud to get to clarity faster. It's a tool for intense focus.
And what's the deal with overthinking? This is a big one. We almost always connect it with anxiety, right? We picture a mind just spinning out of control, stuck in a loop of worry. But for a highly intelligent mind, it's often something else entirely.
And you can see the difference so clearly here. On one side, you've got anxiety. That's driven by worry, it gets you stuck in that frustrating loop, and it's super reactive. But then look at the other side, logical overthinking. That's driven by analysis. It's not about being stuck, it's about exploring possibilities. You're deliberately pausing to reflect on every single angle.
Psychologists actually have a name for this, cognitive complexity. And it's just the brain's natural ability to dig in and examine all the potential angles and consequences that most people might just gloss over. So it's not indecisiveness, it's deep, strategic information gathering.
Okay, so if that's what's happening inside the mind, how does that start to affect the outside world? Let's take a look at how highly intelligent people actually shape their physical environment to create the absolute perfect zone for deep thinking.
This brings us to that urge, that need some of us get for long, solitary walks. And let's be clear, this isn't about avoiding people. It's a very deliberate act to create a very specific kind of mental space.
Because check out what's happening in your brain. Walking literally activates creative networks. And the solitude gives you this amazing thing called cognitive quiet, which lets you connect ideas without all the social noise. It's basically a full system reset for your brain and your emotions.
All right, next up is a total classic, the messy desk. But here's the twist. If you were to look at that same person's computer, you might find that their digital files or their project outlines are perfectly, almost obsessively organized. So what is going on here?
What's really happening is a kind of mental efficiency. See, your brain has a limited amount of bandwidth, like a computer's RAM, and it's making a very strategic choice not to waste that precious energy on organizing physical papers, so it can save it all for the complex, abstract thinking that actually matters.
So, we've seen how the mind works and how it shapes its environment. But why? I mean, what's the engine driving all of this? So often, it comes down to this relentless quest for deeper meaning.
You ever do this? You dive headfirst down a rabbit hole on some totally random new topic. Could be ancient Rome, could be quantum physics, anything. And you just obsess over it until you feel like you've got it, and then you move on. To other people, it can look a little flaky.
But it's so not. This is a powerful learning tool called associative integration. Your brain isn't just collecting random facts. It's building this massive, interconnected web of diverse concepts, just waiting to link them together to create brand new, groundbreaking ideas. It's all about feeding that powerful curiosity.
And finally, let's talk about the one habit that so often gets labeled as being antisocial. A deep,
deep dislike of small talk. You know, the weather, what you did last weekend. For some people, it can feel physically draining.
And here is the real reason why. It isn't about avoiding people. It is about avoiding low information, almost ritualistic conversation. A highly intelligent mind is constantly craving depth, new ideas, and genuine connection. It's just a preference for quality over quantity. So, let's bring this all home. What we've seen again and again is that these so-called weird habits, they aren't bugs in your programming, they're features. They are specialized, highly effective tools that your mind is using to operate at its absolute peak.
These things are not just random personality quirks. They are, quite literally, the source code of your intelligence. They are the very instructions that allow your mind to see, to analyze, and to understand the world with incredible depth and complexity. And that just leaves us with one last thought to really chew on. In a world that so often pushes us all to be the same, what if the very things we label as weird, in ourselves and in other people, are actually just different, misunderstood ways of being absolutely brilliant?